So mindfulness was popularized by Jon Kabat-Zinn in the West, and he defines it as the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. And meditation is a practice that can help us be more mindful. So we don't have to do meditation to be mindful. But for the purpose of this series, we'll be doing both. So we're going to be practicing being aware of our current thoughts, feelings, surroundings, and accepting this present moment with awareness and openness and curiosity in a non-judgmental way. And that's really the key to mindfulness. And when we meditate, we're learning to really fine tune our instrument, which is our mind, our brain, allowing it to come into focus without kind of going all over the place. And the more that we practice, the more fine tuned our instrument gets. And then we have the ability to be more mindful in our everyday lives. Of course, the benefits are great. All the good things that help with mindfulness meditation is, just being able to regulate your emotions, have attention and empathy for others, compassion. It will increase your productivity because you're less likely to squirrel, helps us be more connected with others, and allows us to have more resilience and wellness. And, just stress and overall physiological and psychological symptoms and distress are down to a minimum. Of course, just like everything else, we need practice in order to put this into play. So I always like to start with 2 feeling words. So this just helps us get a barometer of where we are mentally and emotionally. And you can share that in the chat. Sometimes it's really helpful to just see and connect with other people and see, oh, I'm not the only one. Because when we're vulnerable and open ourselves up a little bit more, then it gives us that really the connection that we're all here for. So that's important. If I were to kind of share where I'm feeling today, I would say a little stressed and also a little hurried. And that's usually my Thursdays, just because it's kind of the end of the week and I'm wrapping it all up and trying to take care of all the loose ends. But you'll notice, hopefully, that by the end of the practice, your emotional state, your feeling state will shift a little bit. If you're experiencing physical pain, something that's also important to note, because mindfulness can have a direct impact on the way we experience physical pain. But we're all very in tune with our physical abilities and disabilities, right? We all know how we feel. We can tell we pretty much share that on a daily basis. What we don't share on a daily basis maybe is how we're feeling mentally or emotionally, especially emotionally. So stressed and hopeful. A lot of us are stressed. So we're kind of wrapping up, getting towards the final push of the semester, maybe working on some big projects, perhaps. And even if it's good stress, which a lot of these things are, like we're happy to do them and they're important in our lives and they bring us joy, it's still important to take some time to cushion in between so that you have some time to regulate. And that helps us continue on without getting burned out. Okay, so, and then we want to notice where you feel this in your body. So I always want to make the mind body connection anytime we're doing mindfulness, yoga, meditation. I want you to feel, kind of close your eyes and notice, where do I feel this sensation in my body? For me, when I'm stressed, I feel it in my jaw, in my chest, and in my shoulders. Sometimes the back of my lower back will start to become wrenched. I'll have some tension there. And of course, I've talked about this before of how we tend to have these physical symptoms and we don't relate them to how we are doing mentally or emotionally. And then if we don't make that connection, we assume, oh, I must have, reached wrong, or I need to stretch more. And then those symptoms don't go away and we're wondering why. And when you have something, especially that's chronic, it's time to take a deeper look at where you are mentally and emotionally and how that is relating to you physically. Okay, tight shoulders and jaw. Yeah, that's very common. A lot of us carry it there. So let's start to just get present. We're going to do the belly breath to begin with. You can find a comfortable position in your chair. I like to sit at the end of my chair and allow my feet to kind of ground into the floor. You can even take off your shoes so that you can feel your feet connected to the ground. And then you'll notice, like, almost immediately, your stomach starts to tense up a little bit, right? So we want to just soften the belly and just get right here, right now, in this present moment. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Feel your sit bones in the chair. Notice where your shoulders are in relation to your ears. Soften the belly. And when you soften the belly, take a nice deep inhale, fill up your belly with air. And as you exhale, let the air empty out from the belly. When we do this diaphragmatic breathing, it helps to regulate the nervous system, takes us out of the fight or flight stress response into the relaxation response. It's free, it's with you always, and it's very easy to do. So now put your hands on your belly so you can really feel your belly expand with the breath. When you exhale, feel your hands drop towards the spine. Let's say you inhale for 4 to 6 counts. Work on exhaling maybe 6 to 8 counts. So I'm going to extend the exhale just a little bit. Allow your jaw to soften, temples to release and relax. Soften your eyes. Allow the tongue to just settle on the bottom of the mouth. If you find yourself trying to control the breath too much, that's okay. That's normal at the beginning. Just see if you can really detach from that and allow it to be fluid and easy. And from here, we're going to do some chair stretches, and this will just allow our meditation to be more comfortable. So you can start with some shoulder rolls. We're going to go all the way forward, all the way up, all the way back, and all the way down. And generally, when we do stretching, we want to link the breath with the movement. It will become more natural the more you practice that. But we'll just start with inhaling as you come up, exhaling down. And then reverse the rotation. So we'll come forward. And then shoulders up to the ears. And drop them down. Yeah, good. All the way up. Drop down. And again. And drop down. And just look over your right shoulder. Drop your chin down to your shoulder. Just looking down, then looking up and back down. Keep the belly soft and supple. And then to the other side, one side might be a little more tight or tense. Just lean into it, breathe. Look down. And then up. And back down. And back to center. Bring arms up above you. Reach up nice and tall. Good. Kind of arch the back, open the heart up to the ceiling. And then exhale, bring your elbows down by your sides. Hands are in line with your shoulders. And then inhale up. Exhale down. Couple more times. Both arms back up. We're going to drop one hand down to the middle of the back and use the other hand to stretch. You want to drop the shoulders down and lift up the chin. Open up your heart center here. So you don't want to be closed off here. You want to open it up as much as possible. And then arms come all the way out. And we'll go to the other side. Arms back out. Hands clasped behind your head. Bring the elbows center. Then tuck your chin to your chest and let your hands just kind of pull your neck. But it's gentle, it's subtle. It's not a like wrenching your head down. Kind of just letting gravity bring the elbows down. Spine stays straight. And then back up. Nice. And let's twist the body. So we're just going to keep your sit bones rooted on your chair and then turn to one side. You can bring your opposite hand to your knee to help you twist. Shoulders away from the ears. You'll notice the belly wants to constrict and the tongue wants to go to the roof of the mouth. The shoulders want to go up to the ears. So all of that needs to be taken into consideration. And then to the other side, we'll just twist around to the other side. Sit bones, stay center, shoulders away from the ears. Soften the belly. And then back to center. Sitting on the edge of your chair, you can put your hands like on the seat itself or on the arms of the chair. And you're going to extend out your right leg, point and flex your foot, and then roll your ankle around like this. And then the other side, left foot, point and flex. Roll the ankle. Now hug in your right knee. So this will help lower back, hips. And then switch sides, left knee. And cross your right ankle over your left knee. Bring your right knee out to the side and hinge forward. So this is really going to stretch the hips and the lower back. The glutes, especially the piriformis, which if you have any kind of sciatic issues, can be a problem because the piriformis muscle will clamp down on that sciatic nerve. And this is one way to stretch it out. Exhale, come forward a little bit more. And then to the other side. And bring both knees wide. Just hinge forward and let your head hang down. You can bring your arms down to the floor. Just stretch your lower back all the way up your spine to your head. This also allows, it's kind of like a mini inversion, so you're getting some fresh blood and oxygen to the brain. Good, and then just one big stretch. And now we are ready to do our meditation. So a few notes about posture. You want to be sitting with your sit bones, which are those two little bones in the bottom of your bum. You want those to be rooted evenly into the chair or into the ground. So if you're sitting on the floor, you can sit in Padmasana, easy pose, like is shown on the picture. If you're sitting in a chair, which is totally acceptable and fine, just keep your feet grounded on the floor. Shoulders are open but relaxed. Chin is tucked in slightly, so we're not like jutting out here, but we're also not like pulling it in. It's just tucked in slightly. Belly is soft. You can close your eyes or you can gaze at the floor or your desk in front of you, whichever feels more comfortable to you. And then your tongue is held against the upper palate, like right behind the front two teeth, but very gently. It's kind of where it goes naturally. And then lips slightly apart, teeth unclenched. Embody the flow of a river. So the breath is just moving with the stability of a mountain. As we go into our mindfulness practice today, I'm going to cover a foundational element of mindfulness known as beginner's mind. So beginner's mind, we often let our thinking and our beliefs about what we know prevent us from seeing things as they really are. We tend to take the ordinary for granted and fail to see the richness in each moment. So what we want to cultivate is what has been called beginner's mind, or a mind that is willing to see everything as if it's for the first time. So one thing that we can count on is change. And we aren't the same person now as we were when we were children, or even 10 years ago, even 6 months ago. But we have the tendency to treat reality as if it is fixed and permanent. We judge ourselves and others based on what we think we know about our past or their past. We put people in boxes, companies in boxes, ideas in boxes. This man is always angry, or this woman is always happy, but reality is different because, as we know, things change. And when we recognize things can change from day to day, it brings about a sense of calm and peace to each situation because we realize that nothing is permanent. So the stress that we're carrying today is not permanent. We can rest in that assurance. Today's mindfulness practice is a mindful body scan. In yoga, we say that we carry our issues in our tissues, meaning that the emotional response is physiological, it occurs in the body. So the best way to create awareness of emotions is by applying mindfulness to the body. Every time you bring mindfulness to your body, you create conditions for neurological changes that allow you to become more perceptive and aware of your emotional well-being. In a mindful body scan, we systematically bring moment to moment, non-judging attention to different parts of the body. The focus is the attention, not the sensation. So we're focusing on the attention of each part, but not necessarily the sensation of each part. Don't get attached to the outcome, just notice. We'll start with bringing a gentle attention to the breath. Notice where the breath enters the nostrils, and the belly. Become aware of the entire body. Become aware of the breath in and out of the body. And then notice the space in between the inhale and the exhale. Bring the attention to the top of your head. Your ears, the back of your head, and now allow yourself to notice any sensations in these areas: the head, the ears, back of the head. Move your attention to your face, forehead, eyes, cheeks, nose, mouth, inside of your mouth, your gums, and your tongue. No judgment, just awareness. For example, you might notice that your mouth is dry, but you don't tell yourself a story about it. You just notice it. Now shift your attention to your lower back, mid back, your upper back. And the back carries a lot of load every day. We're just going to give our backs the kind and loving attention they deserve. Rest your attention on your chest and your stomach. Without judgment, just awareness and attention. Shift your awareness to your internal organs. And bring your awareness and your attention to your entire body all at once. The top of your head, the tips of your fingers and toes. Just awareness of what shows. Just take a moment to be mindful of what came up during that practice. If there were any judgments or stories that you told yourself about, any sensations you felt, or any parts of the body. And if there was, that's okay. It's just the awareness of it that we're looking for. Because when we're aware of it, then we have the ability to detach from it. Then we're going to move into a body sensations meditation. If you want to open your eyes and kind of move for a second, take a sip of water, feel free to do that. And then we'll move into the next part. So it was just mindful awareness of our body. Now we're going to go into more of a meditation. We're going to start with meditating on a positive experience. So close your eyes and assume your meditation posture. And then bring to mind a memory of a happy, joyous event. It could be recent or long ago. I just want you to recall every detail you can about the event. Who was there? What you saw? What you heard? Any smells or tastes? Any conversations you remember? Bring all of it into your awareness. Really experience the moment fully. Now, bringing attention to your body, I want you to notice how you feel and where you feel it. When you think of this joyful memory, are there any sensations you notice? Is there a quality to this feeling or emotion? Is there maybe a temperature? Does it feel warm and fuzzy? Is there a certain area of the body that you feel it in your heart, your chest, your stomach? Can you name the emotion attached to the feeling? So we may feel something in our body, such as warmth and tingly. Then I want you to notice what the emotion is. Does it feel joy, happiness, love? Just fully immerse yourself in the experience of this positive emotion and feeling. And allow this feeling to just emanate through the entire body. Just allow yourself to return to the present moment. Take some breaths. You may find yourself emotionally charged. And if it's overwhelming, you can just take a couple of breaths, sit with it for a moment, and allow it to be. You don't have to let it go, just let it be as it is. And maybe just notice if any tension or stress that you were feeling at the beginning of our practice is less intense now. Notice how you feel as a whole. And check in to see if that practice was easy for you to do, or if you found yourself kind of bringing in lots of different experiences or ability to focus on just one. There's no judgment in either. It's just curious to kind of look at that. Anyone have something that they want to share of where they felt it in their body, or any emotions that came up specifically in the practice, or where they felt a shift maybe in their mental awareness or physical, emotional, any part of their being? And if you don't want to share, that's fine. You can also just mentally note it. Because, of course, if we do these practices without having the awareness around it, then they still have the effect on us, but it just helps us to identify what's working for us if we're able to kind of process it a little bit at the end. And of course, this practice is fun to do with happy memories. But the thing is, we are subconsciously or even unconsciously doing this all the time. And usually it's not with the best feelings and memories, right? We have this negativity bias where it's a survival kind of mechanism where we're kind of always looking for danger and protecting ourselves. And that is carried in the body. So just like when we experience a positive memory, any of those maybe negative memories or unhappy events or even trauma, that can also be experienced in a way in your body, causing tightness or the inability to take a full breath or the stress or pain. So when we talk about the issues in our tissues, this is what we're talking about, is that we're carrying the impact of events that happen in our life, in our bodies. More centered and less scattered, great. Relaxed ears. Okay, still ringing from high blood pressure, sciatic low back pain is gone. That is really fantastic to hear. So, on that note of talking about pain in the body, one of the things that I like to mention is pain reprocessing therapy. I am someone that the reason I found yoga is because of chronic pain, and that was 20 years ago. I've been dealing with some sort of chronic issue pain wise for most of my life. And mind body stuff is the best, the best things that I have found that help me manage it. The Curable app takes you, and I'm not like sponsored by Curable or anything. I just found it to be extremely helpful. It takes all of mindfulness and meditation and everything that we know about pain, all of the new theories and research on neuroplasticity and pain in the body. And it puts it all into this really nice little package of helping you work through. So what we just did today is kind of called somatic tracking, where we're tracking through the body, where we're feeling emotions. And pain reprocessing therapy helps us work around any kind of pain that we're having in a way that puts some space around it and changes our identification with it, and the way we think about it, the way we catastrophize it, the way it becomes huge in our mind and our lives, and helps us put it in proper space. So it is really phenomenal. They've done a lot of good work with it. So you can look up pain reprocessing therapy. You can also look up the Curable app. And then there is a podcast called Tell Me More About Your Pain. It kind of goes through the theory behind it. Anyway, it's super interesting. So you might find that to be helpful for anyone dealing with pain, whether that's like, chronic neck tension or chronic back pain. Majority of us at some point in our life will have some kind of chronic situation like that. And it's not typically from an injury or tissue damage. It's usually from a mental, emotional, mind-body connection that we need to work through. Okay, so a little self-check, just kind of notice where you are. After doing our midday reset, take a few breaths, kind of let it out, get refocused for the day. Of course, the more you practice mindfulness, the more you will be able to access it and the calm and the steadiness in all situations. That's really the goal, right? Is that it becomes a habit and then it just kicks in and becomes more of a natural way of being. So in order to practice, just like you would go to the gym to build up your muscles, You need to make a time for mindfulness. So I love the Calm app. I love anything from Jon Kabat-Zinn or Headspace or 10% Happier. Those are kind of my go-tos. There's lots of free stuff out there too. Rick Hansen has like this 1 minute mindfulness. So there's lots of ways to get that into your day. And I suggest everyone try it. It's gonna there's no negative side effects from it. It can only make things better for you. And if y'all have any questions, let me know. I hope everyone enjoyed that. And we have one more session next week. And so we'll wrap up our series next week.